Chris Hayes says CNN's Trump's town hall decision hard to defend. This is a Hill story. MSNBC's Chris Hayes criticizes CNN's decision to host former President Trump in a live town hall event next week, saying he finds it very hard to defend the choice to give him a live platform, no matter how it is dressed up. CNN announced earlier this week that Trump will participate in a town hall event in New Hampshire, moderated by CNN anchor Caitlin Collins. Hayes warned that giving Trump live airtime poses a risk that he might give out personal information about the DA or say something that cannot be unsaid. MSNBC has previously opted out of live coverage of Trump's events, despite, I think Rachel Maddow was the one that says, he is speaking right now, but we don't want to have any of the misinformation.
Oh, yeah, of course not.
We're going to tell you what he says, but we're not going to air it. Despite Trump's past criticism of CNN, he is reportedly looking to rebuild a media relationship as he runs for re-election 2024. Do you agree with Chris Hayes?
It's a cult. These people are in a cult, and the cult is large, and you can't pull them out because they're on social media. But one of the most powerful tactics a cult uses is to separate you from external information. When you go back and look at all the news coverage of Donald Trump, you can conclude a few things. If you come from my background, it's, man, this guy's kind of a dick. You know, Trump's a boisterous, loud man. He's rude to a lot of people. But those things they claimed he did not do. My favorite example, one of the earliest, is when they zoom in on him and he throws food into a koi pond with Shinzo Abe of Japan. Then the media just goes nuts, insulting him, saying how crass, how uncouth. Turns out they edited the video so that you could not see Shinzo Abe dumps the food in the koi pond, and then Trump nods and then does the same thing. And that seemingly innocuous. But the goal was every step of the way, they were falsely representing what it is Trump said or did to create an impression in someone's mind that was not Donald Trump. He's a lot of things. But the best example, of course, is Joe Biden launching his campaign on what we call the very fine people hoax, where Donald Trump said, you know, in Charlottesville, there were very fine people on both sides, and I'm not talking about the white nationalists and the neo-Nazis because they should be condemned totally, but you had some people who thought the statue should not be torn down. What does Joe Biden do? Completely alters the context, puts up a fake video to lie to people. So then you end up with people like Chris Hayes. He's in a cult. He might actually be an orchestrator of the lies, probably is. But when he goes out and says, you should not hear what this man has to say, don't trust people who say that. I will tell you this, anybody listening, you should hear what everyone has to say. Make the decision for yourself. I'm not your boss. I'm not your leader. I'm just some dude on the internet. You can hear what I have to say. You can tell me I'm wrong. You can insult me and call me all the names in the world. I respect that. Anybody who tells you, no, don't listen to that guy, they're probably tricking you or lying to you.
Yeah. And so, Tim, when you say, you were on, I think Brian Sharp was on your podcast. He talked about the evil group of people that are secretly controlling the world. Do you think, as we said, yeah, I think you did.
Who did that?
Brian Sharp was on your podcast. Just about evil people running the world. You mentioned, when you said evil about these people, do you think it's just generations of families that are just keeping this power, or is it genuine evil that is out here? Because
I don't think it's generations of families. I think there's an emergent effect that exists throughout humanity where people inherit seats of power. And then, you know, the way I've described it is you can have a president who seems hopeful and seems fantastic. The moment they sit down, they're handed a stack of papers by the deep state, by the CIA, and they go, oh, okay, now we're going to keep blowing up kids in the Middle East.
Yeah.
So, you know, one of the things I think, especially now with the narrative from Tucker Carlson and Ron Paul about JFK being assassinated, the joke I've made is that the president gets in to office, and then he says, I want to end this war. And then, you know, his head of the CIA just slides a photo of JFK right onto his desk and says, no, you don't.
Wow.
And then he's like, oh, okay, I'm joking, obviously.
Yeah.
But that's what Tucker says. So when you know, Media Matters loves to pull things out of context and then lie, obviously. They do it all day. It's what they do for a living. Here, I'll read the quote. Not that it's not a censorship question and people expect me to say Jews or something. No, I'm talking about like the Davos group, powerful corporate interests. These are people of all different backgrounds. So, I mean, like, what is the implication here that they're trying to put on me? I'm quite literally saying this was related, I think, to Kanye West. I'm like, the idea that it's Jewish people who are doing these things is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. Because there's, we looked up the banks, and like the CEOs of all these big banks are like white Irish guys. Yeah. And I'm like, people just want to find a group of people to blame. But what I think it is, Disney, who currently runs Disney, Bank of America, who currently runs, someone works a job, they get the promoted or appointed, and these people then just follow like cogs in the machine, something that is the banality of evil. So there's malicious evil, there's the banality of evil. I think someone like Ocasio-Cortez is maliciously evil in that she intentionally decides to cause pain and harm to people. For example, she told a story about January 6th where she said someone knocks on her door. She goes and hides in the bathroom. She's thinking they got to my office, you know, I'm going to die. She hears someone say, "Where is she? Where is she?" Turns out it was a cop and they were evacuating the building. What ends up happening is conservatives come out because many of them don't do their research. And they said, hey, wait a minute, AOC's office isn't in the Capitol. The media then does fact check. There are tunnels that connect the Capitol to AOC's office. That's why she was scared. And then I come out and say, double fact check. The story she told took place 1 hour before the Capitol was breached. She made the whole thing up. I'm sure a cop went to her, I think a cop did go to her office, did knock on the door, did say, where's AOC? And that was because they were evacuating that particular building an hour before anyone breached the Capitol, and it was over the pipe bomb scare. So when she tells a story and says, they got me, they found me, or something like that, she is lying to you. She intentionally chose to lie. Now you've got the story of the guy who had 40 arrests, who kidnapped a little girl, who punched a 64-year-old man in the face, who broke a 67-year-old woman's nose, who threatened people on a train saying, I'll hurt anyone and I don't care if I go to jail. And 3 people, 3 New Yorkers said, we must subdue this man. And in the process, the man lost his life. What is AOC now doing? Demanding the victims go to prison. I think that's maliciously evil. Now, back to the evil group of people ruling the world. I think it's more the banality of evil in that it is commonplace, it is destructive. And the funny thing is, if you actually took the conversation that Media Matters is so upset about and brought it to your average leftist, they would completely agree. Corporations are gutting the earth, they're destroying our forests, they're causing massive pollution. Yet when I say it, they try to frame it as though I'm referring to some conspiracy or cabal.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.